Once upon a time, in a land far away, lived a woman named Manoah and her husband. They wanted a child very much, but they couldn't have one. One day, an angel appeared to Manoah's wife. The angel told her that she would have a baby boy. This baby would be special. He would be a Nazirite. A Nazirite was someone who promised to serve God in a special way. They never cut their hair. They didn't drink wine. The woman told her husband about the angel's visit. He was happy and amazed. They thanked God for answering their prayers. Soon the woman gave birth to a healthy baby boy. They named him Samson. Samson grew up strong and healthy. His hair grew long and thick, just like the angel said it would. Everyone knew that Samson was a special child with a very important destiny. Samson grew up always aware of his Nazirite vow. It set him apart. But it also filled him with pride. He knew God had chosen him for something great. He felt different from everyone else. He felt special, and he couldn't wait to see what exciting adventures awaited him. Little did he know his life would be filled with amazing feats of strength, but also with difficult choices and challenging lessons. One day Samson met a woman from a nearby land called Philistia. He decided to marry her, even though his parents weren't happy about it. The Philistines were enemies of the Israelites. They were always fighting, but Samson was stubborn. He wanted what he wanted. He went ahead with the marriage. At the wedding feast, Samson gave a riddle to the Philistine men. He was sure they couldn't solve it. He promised them gifts if they could guess the answer. The Philistines cheated. They threatened Samson's wife. They made her tell them the answer. Samson was furious. He felt tricked and betrayed. Samson stormed off in a rage. He went and killed 30 Philistine men. He took their clothes and gave them to the men who had won the riddle. Samson's anger was fierce. It burned like a fire inside him. He couldn't believe that the Philistines had been so dishonest. He vowed to make them pay for their deceit. He would make them regret ever crossing him. This was just the beginning of the conflict between Samson and the Philistines. Again and again, Samson's incredible strength saved the Israelites from their enemies. One time the Philistines were attacking. Samson grabbed the jawbone of a donkey. That's right, a donkey's jawbone. He used it as a weapon and defeated 1,000 Philistine soldiers. Another time, Samson was trapped in a city. The Philistines shut the city gates, hoping to catch him. But Samson was too strong for them. He ripped the city gates right out of the ground. He carried them away on his shoulders. The people were amazed by his strength. They knew he was a true hero, but Samson's strength wasn't just physical, it came from God. God gave Samson his amazing power to help him fight for his people. But Samson didn't always use his strength wisely. He was often driven by anger and pride. He let his emotions get the best of him, and that would eventually lead to his downfall. Samson had a secret to his incredible strength. It was his long hair. As long as he never cut his hair, he would remain the strongest man alive. The Philistines knew this. They were desperate to find a way to defeat him. They came up with a plan. They found a woman named Delilah. Delilah was beautiful and cunning. The Philistines bribed her to discover the secret of Samson's strength. Delilah pretended to love Samson. She begged him to tell her his secret. At first, Samson refused, but Delilah kept asking. She wore him down with her pleas. Finally, Samson gave in. He told her about his hair. Delilah waited until Samson was fast asleep. Then she called for a Philistine soldier. The soldier came in and shaved off Samson's hair. Just like that, Samson's strength was gone. He was as weak as an ordinary man. The Philistines captured Samson. They blinded him and threw him in prison. They laughed and mocked him. They thought they had finally won. But Samson's hair began to grow back, and as it grew, his strength slowly returned. One day, the Philistines held a great festival in their temple. They brought Samson out of prison to make fun of him. They tied him to 2 large pillars that held up the roof of the temple. Samson prayed to God. He asked for one last bit of strength. The Philistines laughed and jeered. Suddenly Samson felt a surge of power coursing through him. He pushed against the pillars with all his might. The temple walls shook, the roof began to crumble. The Philistines screamed in terror as the entire temple collapsed on top of them. Samson died that day, but he took his enemies with him.